Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a little bit of an update video regarding Zen 3, Ryzen 4000 series in terms of compatibility with previous generation motherboards. So if you've watched my latest video, you might have heard that AMD has decided not to support the previous generation 400 and 300 series motherboards for Zen 3. They're basically saying like, no, we're not supporting those boards with new CPUs. But there's a big issue there as they didn't tell anybody whenever X570 was released alongside the third generation, and B450 was still being sold, meaning that you would assume that B450 would, support the newer generations. But anyway, they've decided to actually change their mind, and now the 400 series boards, not 300 unfortunately, will support the new generation. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail of what they're doing here, but let's just go through a quick and dirty rundown. Now, before they said that, 400 and 300 series motherboards would not be supported, but they changed their mind and said that, okay, we're going to support 400 series boards and not support any further generations. Now this is great as they're like clarifying, okay, now we will support these boards now because we didn't, tell you before, but they will not support any new generations. It's unfortunate that the 300 series boards don't support, the next generation, and I don't really see AMD is really in the right at this point. I still think they're in the wrong. But let's see what they actually did to make it, work. I'll get to that in a minute. So as I said before, the BIOS, file that holds the CPU list, I can put a link to it. My previous video kind of going into detail of this, or I can check out Gamers Nexus video. There's basically, to put it very vaguely, not enough like space for the list of CPUs that are supported. So, you put this one in, it's on the BIOS list and like, hey, this one will work, but I digress. So basically what AMD is going to do with, the 400 series boards, that they're going to remove previous generation CPUs, the, first and second generation ones, basically the ones that you're not using. But there's a bit of an issue here in terms of BIOS. You'll have to be verified to have a new generation CPU before you can flash the BIOS, as it will surely get rid of the older CPU, because like I said before, they're going to remove the support list for the older CPUs. And chances are the one that you're currently using to upgrade will probably be docked from the list. Now, it doesn't seem clear as what CPUs they're going to remove, but it's probably going to be first and second generation chips, possibly some third gen ones. I'm not entirely clear on how much CPUs have to actually go, but we'll see. Definitely the Athlon and all those first generation APUs for sure. So 400 series boards will work with the new generation, but they will not support any newer generation. So Zen 4, I guess, if we're just going with that naming scheme, let's do another plus. And you'll have to update the BIOS, but you'll have to be verified to have a new CPU. I don't know how they're going to do that. I guess we'll see. So you can buy a cheaper, 400 series board to save some cash, or you can just save the hassle and get a 500 series board. But now that we've talked about actual compatibility with older motherboards, let's talk more about AMD and the people that defended them or did not. Now, the community really had a big reaction to the whole, no more support for older chipsets, as, they kind of really left this out in the dust. Whenever X570 and 3rd gen was released, there is no lower end chipset with the 500 series, name, so just B450. And, you would assume that, oh, if they're selling this one, you can just, upgrade whenever they release a new generation. But they didn't say anything. They kind of just, they will support, newer CPUs. And MSI, I think, actually guaranteed that Zen 3 would be supported on their, I think it was Tomahawk Max boards. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, they're basically just assuming that, the boards would support the newer generations. So now AMD has decided to change their mind, and now, the 400 series boards are, compatible. But the issue is, why can't they do it on the 300 series boards either? The BIOS size really isn't that different, if I'm correct. I believe Gamers Nexus did a more in-depth video about that, discussing the BIOS, ROM sizes. But anyway, to all the people that defended AMD, but the issue is, while AMD is great and all, at the end of the day, they're just trying to make money. Guys, realistically, if, let's say this happened with Intel, which, it kind of has when you think about it, even though it's kind of expected by them at this point. But if Intel had done the same thing AMD did, they had a higher end, chipset, and they still had their previous generation one, and they didn't release a new one. They said, oh, this one won't support the new generation. Would you have defended Intel for that? You just said, Intel's at it again. It's the same with AMD. While they kind of have better support I mean, all things being considered, B350 does support 3rd gen, which at the very least, that's alright. It would have been nice to have Zen 3, but who knows if they'll change their decision again. I mean, realistically, I don't think most companies would have reacted to something like this, but AMD did, and they changed their mind and they, cleared it out, kind of, because, 300 series boards don't support it. But if the community, shows that they don't like what a company does, then maybe the company can see, oh, maybe we should change that. But if you're going to try and defend AMD saying, oh, no, it's okay, AMD, they've changed, our expectations and whatnot, so it's acceptable that it's all right, we can just buy another motherboard. No, if you don't try and make any change, then they're just going to be like, oh, this is okay. Then, no support for those, older motherboards. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get back to you. If you did enjoy the video, hit that like button, but if not, you know where to go. While you're there, consider subscribing to the channel, and enable notifications for more quality tech videos. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.